Hello everyone. Today our lesson will be on chemical bonds. You'll be learning Lewis dot structure of ionic bonds. So now for Lewis dot structure, you'll be learning about the same topic that you learned last time, ionic bonds. And we learned that ionic bonds are formed between a metal and a non-metal. And the reason why they even bond is that they want to become stable, or they want to attain stability. We saw the duplet rule and the octet rule. That for duplet rule, the atom should have for duplet rule, it should have just one shell with 2 electrons. And for octet, it should have more than one shell, and the last shell should have 8 electrons. Now, let's look at the Lewis dot structure for the ionic compounds. So we have, let's check sodium chloride, NaCl, sodium chloride. How can we use the dot structure for sodium chloride? So for chlorine, so now the bond is just formed between the last electron, the valence electrons. They are the ones that are used for bonding. So we just write the last electron. So we have sodium here, sodium. And the configuration for sodium is 281. So it has just 1 electron in the last shell. So we just write sodium with just 1 electron. And now chlorine, you have chlorine here with configuration 287. So it has 7 electrons. So you have chlorine here with 7 electrons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in its last shell. So I did the electrons with different structures, so that because they are 2 different atoms. So now this is dot and we have the cross here. So now they want to attain stability, they want to be able to be stable. This has 3 shells, so it has to follow the octet rule. The last shell should be 8 electrons, but there is only 1 electron here. So it has to lose this 1 electron or gain 7 to become 8. And for this one too, we have 3 shells, 1, 2, 3. The last shell has 7 electrons. For octet 2, the last shell should have 8 electrons. So either it gains 1 electron or lose these 7 electrons. So now sodium will lose 1 electron to become positively charged because it is a metal. And the chlorine will gain the electron to become negatively charged. So now there will be a transfer of electron from sodium to chlorine. So sodium will now become an ion, not an atom. And now chlorine, which has now gained electrons, now will become 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now chlorine has become 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now there are now 8 electrons in the last shell of chlorine. Now there are just 8 electrons in the last shell of sodium, because when sodium loses 1, and we have 8 electrons, and then when chlorine gains 1, and we have 8 electrons. Now we have a positive ion here and then a negative ion here. So positive or negative, there will be an attraction between them. So the attraction will form the bond. So the ionic bonds, they are formed between the ions, not the atoms. So the ionic bond is formed between the ions, so we have to get an ion. So now we get Na plus HO bond, because now this transfer of electrons will form the bond with chlorine ion. So now you have this bond between them. Now let's check magnesium chloride, MgCl2. So you have one magnesium atom with configuration 282 and chlorine with 287. So we have two chlorine atoms, another one with 287, two chlorine atoms. So magnesium, the last cell has 2 electrons. So you have 1, 2. And for chlorine, the last cell has 7. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now you have one chlorine also here. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, chlorine has to gain 1 to become stable, and magnesium has to lose 2 to become stable. So chlorine will gain 1 of the magnesium's electrons, and then this one will also gain 1. So now we have 8 electrons in chlorine, and this one you have 8 electrons in chlorine. And now since this has lost 2 electrons, now we have 8 electrons in the last cell. So now chlorine will become Cl minus because it has gained 1 electron, and magnesium will now become 2 plus because it lost 2 electrons. Now chlorine 2 becomes Cl minus. So we have negative and positive. So now there will be an attraction between them, between the ions, which will form the ionic bond. Now there will be an ionic bond between them. So this is the Lewis dot structure for ionic bond. This is Jewel's Steady World. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share my videos.